What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jess, and today we are bringing you guys an in-depth review of the 87 overall core elite Tyrann Mathieu. A lot of work went into this, so I would really appreciate it if you guys can go on ahead, hit that like button, show support, and if you guys want to continue to see these, we will definitely bang these out for you. Now, the reason why we do this is to show how a card performs, and we want to go in depth and show you absolutely everything that this card can do. We test speed, tackling, coverage, his ability to hit stick, his ability to strip the ball, his ability to handle a truck, his ability to handle a stiff arm, a juke, his ability to cover if you put your defensive settings on aggressive, on conservative, on SWAT, on play receiver. We go on ahead and test out everything. Now, the reason why I want to go on ahead and start off with this card first is because Tyrann Mathieu is a very explosive player. He's in hybrid. He has great coverage. He went ahead and played cornerback for LSU, played a total of 26 games. He was a fan favorite, as he still is now, and he is just an absolute fan favorite. People love themselves a honey badger, and rightfully so. He's earned the respect and love of the fans and of his peers. And we are going to go on ahead and first start with his sales. We want to show you what's his average price, how much he's selling for on the market, how much you can expect to get this card for if you are interested in purchasing this card. So right now, let's go on ahead and take a look at his last few sales and see exactly where you can expect to pay if you want to pick this card up and put him on your team. So as you can see, as of now, his average price is $89K on the Xbox One, $65K on the PS4. Let's go on ahead and take a look at some of his data and see just exactly how much he has been selling for roughly. So we take a look at his last completed sales: 89, 80, 88, 90, 97, 90, 90, 95, 92, 93. So if you are on the Xbox One and you're considering picking up this card, it is going to range anywhere from about 90 to about 100K, give or take. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PlayStation. Now, mind you, the game has been out longer on the Xbox side because of EA Access, so more sales should have had already happened since Xbox had access to the game a few days before the PlayStation crew could. So right here, we're taking a look at his average sales: 66, 62, 56, 65, 70, 65, 60, 60, 58, and 61. Now, the reason why he should be more expensive on the Xbox, because again, Xbox had access first, and there probably wasn't too many cards on the block. So when there's only 100 players on Xbox that have access to the game, and they pull a Tyrann Mathieu, of course they're going to put him up for 100K. But when PS4, when everybody got it in the Gold Edition, then the market is going to fluctuate there. But still, nonetheless, if you are on the PlayStation, you can look to spend anywhere, it looks like, from 60 to about 66, maybe around 70K if you want to go on ahead and pick up this card. Now, let's go on ahead and take a look at his 4 ratings and see exactly what he is capable of. So right now, we're going to go on ahead and take a look at all his most important attributes so you know what to expect and what this card is capable of bringing to the table. According to the Mudhead ratings, he has a man coverage of 98. Now, that is according to his position. So when it comes to a safety, he's damn near as reliable as it gets for man coverage at the safety position. Zone coverage is 86, jump ball 77, range is 88, hands 92, run support 88, and physical 83. And like I said, we have a slew of tests that we're gonna run, that we're gonna show you guys in a bit, to show you everything from man to zone to jump ball, hands, run support, absolutely everything. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It definitely would mean a lot, as we upload content daily. All my OGs, man, again, as much time and effort went into this video, hit that like button, man. The more likes I see, just the more motivated I'ma feel. But right here, general, we see again, speed is 84, acceleration 87, agility 85, man coverage 85, zone coverage 85, his press is 88, his strength is 52, his jumping is 81, his awareness is 85, his play rec is 85, his hands, his catching is 80, his catch in traffic is 68, spec catch 73, In his run defense, he has a block shed of 71, a pursuit of 83, a tackle of 75, and a hit power of 83. And also very important, we want to look at his traits. This is where when you go to coaches settings, if you leave it on balance, this is what he's going to do by himself. Clutch, yes. High motor, yes. LB style, balance. DL swim move, no. DL spin move, no. DL bull rush move, DL bull rush move, no. And that right there are 3 things that aren't really important as a safety, so don't let that deteriorate you from wanting to get this card. Big hitter, yes, and that just means that he is going to give you hit sticks by himself. Without you clicking on, he is going to give you hit stick animations. Stripped ball, yes. And again, that means by himself, he is randomly going to give you the animation where he goes to try and strip the ball loose for a fumble. Plays ball in air, aggressive, and that's very good because you want them to try and play the ball. You want them to try and swat it or catch it or anything. And you definitely would like people on your team where play ball in air is on aggressive. So if you leave your coach settings on balance, by himself, he's going to attack the ball. He's going to try to make a play when the ball is in the air. And penalty, he is disciplined. So that means if you put, let's say, your strip on aggressive, he is going to more than likely try to successfully strip without giving you that face mask penalty that happens ever so often when you try to go in for a strip. So that right there are his attributes. Now let's go on ahead on the in-game testing and see exactly how this card performed. So the first thing we wanted to test out was his catching. How consistently is he going to catch the ball once he puts his hands on it? Now he has a catch rating of 80, and that makes him the 4th highest catching free safety in the game. And after doing some testing, he came down with 70% of passes that hit his hands, meaning he is damn near a safe bet that anytime this card gets his hands on the ball, at 70%, he is going to bring it in. And that is a very, very, very important statistic in Madden for a defender, because we all know, we all hate drop picks. We all want our opponents to pay for if they make a bad read or if our player made a good jump to try and make an interception. Tyrann Mathieu is the 4th best catching free safety in the game, and if you were to happen to have this card, he is damn near a safe bet for coming down with it. Again, after several testing, he is coming down with the catch 70% of the time. Let's head into the next test. Here we are taking a look at his man coverage ability. He is on the far right over here, and it is first amongst all free safeties in the game. And I cannot tell a lie, I was impressed, flat out impressed at how he was able to cover very, very well. If he did get beat, it wasn't by much. The only thing he has trouble with covering is any routes going across the field if you put him at the cornerback position. And we have some examples of him being in his natural safety position. His press is extremely well, and anything where he's not crossing over any slants or crossing routes, if it's on that side of the field, he is just like a top cornerback. You take a look how he intercepts his pass to out route previously, and he played that to perfection. Anything on that side of the field, he just did really, really, really well. And you can see when he does get beat just like that, or the slant for the first time, the clip, he didn't get beat by much. He is right there. Here we are manning him up in his safety position, taking a look. You can see he's right on top of it. He's right there. And again, he did get beat, but it's not by much. His man coverage is flat out astonishing for us. Look at it. He's right on top of him. He is right on top of him. Like, his man coverage is just really, 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 really good. There we go. Cross manning him up to see how it looks, and he actually comes away with the interception. I don't ever recommend really manning up a safety, but for whatever reason, if you want to, he's the safest bet in the game when it comes to covering somebody. Here we go, testing his zone coverage ability. Now, mind you, no type of adjustments have been made. This is unbalanced, so that means he's going to naturally play with his aggressive play style. And he's also 6th among free safeties when it comes to zone coverages. And after testing, after doing purples, light blues, deep blues, he's flat out a playmaking stud, flat out. The only problem is that sometimes that aggressive nature of him goes for the ball and he'll give up a completion. That happens from time to time. But other than that, when it comes to just pure coverage, he is a blanket. If you throw anywhere near him, he puts himself in good position. Here we go with deep blues. It is right here in some cover 2, in some cover 4 situations, running post towards him, and he just plays the post very well, reacts to the ball, makes an interception because of his good hands, and you can just tell that he's 6th among safeties when it comes to zones, and it looks like it. It looks like he's one of the better zone coverage guys in the game, as right there he drops a pick, and unfortunately for him, the receiver catches it. But after doing about 6 or 7 passes with each zone color, he flat out blankets the field. He does a terrific job of making plays, as he should. He's a playmaker, and he flat out blankets the field with any zone. Right here, we're taking a look at his pursuit and Blockshed. We're just randomly running run plays towards him, away from him, just to see how he reacts, see how he does in the run game. And he didn't do too well after all the testing. For one, he backpedals way too much, and 2, his strength is extremely low. So when he does get blocked, even though he has he's top 10 in Blockshed and pursuit, he doesn't get off the block very well. Once he's engaged in a block, it's hard for him to come off. Most of the time when he got blocked, he really got glued on, and about 60% of the time he backpedaled way too much instead of attacking the run. Like right here, you see him way deep up top, and he was backpedaling and never even factor in. He wasn't even inside the box. Just not a very good run safety for run support, as we all should know, because we get him for coverage, not for the run. Didn't do too well in the run. Here we go, taking a look at his tackle and hit power. Now, although I do feel like he backs up way too much in the run and isn't aggressive coming forward towards the run as much as it is, we still want to see how he was tackling against juking, trucking, stiff arming, against things like that in the run. And because you want to be prepared, right? You have to play strategic to your opponent and try to counter what he has on the field. And he does a great job against anybody who tries to stiff arm and juking. He's very successful in those matters. But when it comes to trucking, that's where he had most of his problems. He wasn't too successful with trucking or anything, with guys that can truck. But for the most part, anything else, stiff arm, juking, spinning, he tackles very successfully. High tackle rate. More often than not, he's going to land the tackle without you clicking on and making a play. And about, I want to say 15 to 20%, he would either go for a strip or a hit stick by himself, which is always a good thing because he has both of those checked yes, so that can also lead to a turnover every now and then. But for the most part, outside of a truck, he's extremely effective at landing a tackle. So if they catch a pass in front of him and they try a spin or a juke or anything like that, for the most part, he's going to come down making the play, unless it's a big back that can run right through him. Now we're going to see how his situational traits play off. Right now, we're going to go to coaching adjustments and play ball in air defense. We're going to put play ball, which is going to have him aggressively attack the ball in the air. And as expected, he absolutely dominated with this feature on. For the most part, he's going to play this way on balance anyways, because he plays ball in air aggressively. That's his trait. Standard, alone, even if you have it on balance, this is how he's going to play. So with it on, he's even just going to be more aggressive. That's all he's really going to look to do. And not only did he catch several interceptions doing this, he played defense really well. He didn't really give up too many big plays. For the most part, he put himself in position extremely well, and he came away with some really good interceptions. Now, the only time he did give up big plays were with the aggressive catch, and of course that's going to happen due to the fact of him being 5'9". He's definitely not an asset to the team vertically, but outside of that, as long as you're not going up against a Mike Evans or anything like that, he's going to do a pretty good job. But if you do happen to go up against some tall receivers, then he might be in trouble, because when I asked him to put his receiver on aggressive catches, just start going for aggressive catches because they're not getting those animations. then he started to get smanged on like that, and that continuously happened quite a bit. And he just got some really good animations, and Tyrann Mathieu effectiveness just kind of got bumped down. You know, his receiver was actually putting his hand on the ball where before he was not. So again, let this be a warning to you. We all know at 5'9", he's gonna have trouble playing the aggressive catch anyways, but for him going for aggressive catch majority of the time, he still did a pretty good job of defending it. Again, I was impressed. He attacked the ball extremely well, and he caught a ton of interceptions and broke up a lot of passes. Now, mind you, it's not the greatest receiver in the world. I believe it was Adams. I can't really see because when I'm recording, it's a little it's not HD. It's blurry. I don't get that same thing you do. But right here, we're going to go to play receiver, and this is not something I suggest you doing, because when playing the receiver, it's kind of like he allowed the receiver to put his hands on the ball first and then try to make a play. Either, you know, strip the ball loose for incomplete pass or tackle him down. As you can see, he actually catches the interception there. That's just his aggressive nature. But that was rare. With this feature on, that was rare. For the most part, he just allowed his receiver to put his hands on the ball. And as you see, like right here, this is the animation he got majority of the time. That right there. And if he had a very good receiver, then like maybe a Julio Jones or an Antonio Brown or Chris Carter, then they're probably catching that right there. Probably. I don't know. This is a new feature that, you know, you can have him do all the time, so I'm not really sure. I just know that I feel like his defense was a lot better with it aggressive. Right here, Swat. This was the worst one of them all. The absolute worst one of them all. Because here you're not asking him to play the ball, you're not asking him to play the receiver, you're asking him to just, you know, try and bat the pass down, and he was getting aggressively caught a ton. More on this feature than not. I highly suggest if you click on to him, and usually swatting is the best thing. So if you do click on, you usually want to go for a swat because you know the defender is probably going to go for an aggressive catch. But if you're leaving him alone, then you probably don't want it on swat ball, because look, he did a way better job being more aggressive than he was, you know, swatting passes. So in my suggestion, this right here was the worst one of them all, because he just gave up more passes, more big plays than when it was play ball and play receiver. Another one, we chuck it up, and thankfully got that animation to go on ahead and drop it. So out of the three features, I think SWAT, the receiver was able to get the ball, their hands on the ball more often than not. Right here, coaching adjustment. He already has his strip, yes, but when we put this on aggressive, we wanted to see how many times he's going to get the animation, how successful he's going to be with it, and how many times he's actually going to cause a turnover. The very second time we had it on, bam, he caused the fumble. And the very first play, he went for a big hit. So they're obviously not always going to go for a strip. But with this on, there goes the animation, the tackle was broken. But with this on, I want to say about 40% he landed the tackle, and about 30% he got the animation. So that's pretty good for you to take a chance and want to go for a big strip. For the most part, he landed the tackle pretty consistently. Almost every other tackle he was able to make, and almost 1 out of every 3 he got the strip animation. I would like to think that's pretty good. You are taking a gamble with this on, but for me, this is something else. Again, I was impressed. I thought that was a very good ratio for him to have, considering, you know, my guy is trying to truck and juke and stiff arm, and for the most part, he's doing a pretty good job getting tackles. He did a pretty decent job of getting the strip animation, keeping the running back in front of him, and it seemed like, as he got demolished right there, it seemed like he was actually tackling better with this on than not. It's weird. Tackling aggressive just means he's going to go on ahead and get more hit sticks. He's going to go for as many hit sticks as possible. Very first time we turned it on, bam, hit stick to the legs, and he got himself a big hit. But he didn't. His tackle success rate is lower with this on than strip when they went for a truck. So when strip is on aggressively, he did a better job of tackling the guy when they try to truck. With tackling aggressive on, he got trucked way more often, and he didn't get as many hit stick animations. So he gets more strip animations and tackle success than he does with strip on than he does aggressive tackle. So I definitely recommend you going for strips if you need a big turnover. Now let's go ahead and tune into the outro. In conclusion, this card is an absolute monster. He's top 10 in almost every defensive stat that matters the most. He's top 10 in tackling. He's top 10 in pursuit. He's top 10 in blockshed. He's top 10 in man coverage. He's top 10, well, he's number 1 in man coverage. He's top 10 in zone coverage. He's top 10 in hit power. He's an aggressive monster. Now, we all know he's vertically challenged, but this is a card for you if you like fast pace, aggressive playmakers. That's what he is. He is a ball hawk. With his catch being extremely high, anything that touches his hands, for the most part, he's catching. He played zones very, very, very good. Anybody that was near him, he absolutely did a great job of tracking passes down and making plays. He makes tackles extremely good. The only thing I would have to say negatively about this card is him in the run game. If he gets picked up on a block, he doesn't escape. Even though he's top 10 in blockshed at the position, his strength is just too low, and he would have to have the coach himself blocking him for him to get a blockshed. He didn't attack the run as much as I would like. Too many times he was backpedaling far off of the run, and by the time the tackle happened, he was still 6 yards away from the ball. That I didn't like too much. I would like him to have read the run better and for him to have at least be somewhere in the vicinity. More often than not, he was away from the play, and I didn't like that. With aggressive catching, he has his troubles. I feel like when you have it on Swat and play receiver, he gave up more aggressive catches than not. But with play ball aggressive, he did a tremendous job. He's meant to play aggressively. He's meant to be on the field for you to go on ahead and create turnovers. He's meant to be put in a position for him to try and jump routes, for him to try and come down and get that strip, get that big hit, because he does all that by himself. He's an aggressive monster. Would I recommend him? 100%, without a doubt. Again, the only problem is him in the run game. If you go up against somebody who's very run heavy, you're probably going to want to bring him, closer to the line of scrimmage, because he just backpedals too much. But that's like literally the only negative thing. I'm nitpicking at this point because he is a flat out ball hawk. I highly recommend him for the price that he is. Less than 90K, when you have somebody that is going to get interceptions, going to create turnovers, going to go for strips and land them pretty often, going to go for big hits. It's just a win-win situation. He's expensive, but well worth the price, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know who you guys would like next. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We're going to go on ahead and be signing out. Peace.